Hello, I'm Desmond P. Ryan, the author of the Mike O'Shea crime fiction series and the Mary Margaret Cozy series, and you're listening to the Dark and Stormy podcast.
Hello and welcome to Dark and Stormy Book Club. Today we have a visit with one of our favorites, Desmond Ryan. Enjoy.
I'm Ann Dart.
I'm Tracy Stormy.
And I'm Kathy Knight.
And together we are
It Was a Dark and Stormy Book Club,
a podcast for mystery lovers.
Welcome.
If you enjoy our show, please consider contributing to the Dark and Stormy Patreon. By becoming a patron, you will help us create better and quality content. There are also benefits to becoming a patron, such as exclusive content and Dark and Stormy merchandise. Become a supporter at patreon.com/darkandstormybc. Check our website for the link. We appreciate any and all contributions. Thank you.
We are pleased to welcome to the program one of our very favorite people, Desmond P. Ryan, and we're very happy that his Mike O'Shea series, as well as his Mary Margaret O'Shea series, is coming back. In fact, the day we release this episode, his first Mike O'Shea book will be released today. So be sure and get a copy. It's a great read. Welcome, Desmond.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back. Thank you.
Desmond, you have so many exciting things going on. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with these books?
Yes, well, as you know, interestingly enough, I was listening to the podcast we had done a couple of years ago, just to refresh my memory. As you know, I started writing the Mike O'Shea series. That's a police procedural, and I started self-publishing them, and it went fairly well. Out of that came a character, Mary Margaret, who is Mike's mother. Now, Mary Margaret was put in the Mike O'Shea books just to give a little bit of levity to them because they were pretty dark and they were getting darker and darker. So I threw Mary Margaret in and she became a reader favorite. And then she started taking over the books. It's a little Irish woman with a large personality. When readers started saying, we want to see more of her, but again, she was taking over the book and it was starting to fall away from the police procedural format, I decided to look into giving her her own series. So I started a cozy series with her. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and, the world as we knew it sort of stopped and shifted. I was continuing writing the Mike books, but I found them really dark, a little too dark, actually, for me and where I wanted to be as we were in a global lockdown. And so I really started working on the Mary Margaret books, which are just fun. She's irreverent. She's situationally Machiavellian. She's her own person, runs by her own rules. And I was having a lot of fun writing her. One of my writing buddies said, really what you should do is get an agent and get her out to the world. And so, as you know, that's all you have to do is just manifest an agent and they appear.
Sorry.
Clearly, I was not a good enough manifester. And so I kept getting rejected. And I thought, well, I don't care. I'm going to continue to write these Mary Margarets because it's a lot of fun. Finally, Cindy Bullard from Birch Literary contacted me and she said, I love Mary Margaret. I want her to get out to the world. I really, really, really want to represent you. We had a lovely conversation. Cindy's lovely. I signed with her and she started shopping the book out and Level Best Books picked up the Mary Margaret books. Part of the deal with that was they said that to maintain the integrity of the characters, I couldn't use the characters in any other books.
Oh, dear.
But exactly. I said, I've already written these 3 books and there's 3 more in the series that I really want to complete in a police procedural. And they said, well, you know what? Why don't we buy that series as well?
Well, there you go.
Yes. And so in both contracts, there are what I believe is called a suite deal that they made. And I signed both of the series 2 level best books. Well, the interesting thing with the Mary Margaret is when we were negotiating the contract, my agent said to me, because I said, how many books do they want? And she said, well, how many do you want to write? I didn't quite know what to say. I said, well, how many should I write? And she said, well, I would start with 5 or 6 and see where it goes. I said, well, that sounds reasonable. So I'm contracted to start with 5 books with level best for Mary Margaret, and then the 6 books for the Mike O'Shea. All of them are going to be out within the next 4 years.
Very
Wow,
cool.
you better get busy.
Yeah. So it's been nice chatting. I have to go now. That's fine.
I heard the keyboard typing as we were talking.
Yes, I'm typing as we speak. Yes,
Yes.
Well, it stops for no one.
that's it.
So you're taking the originally self-published books off the market and then they're going to reissue them?
Yes, they're off the market now. 1033 Assist PC, which is the first book, is going to be available the 7th of February. They've added the funeral to it
Oh, good.
because novellas are really expensive to produce.
Yes.
And I didn't want it to get lost because I really liked
Oh
that
yeah, that's
story.
great.
And it really it finishes off 1033 very nicely. So the level best version of 1033 Assist PC is going to have 1033 and the funeral. And then in April, Death Before Coffee is coming out. So
Good.
that's April 11th. And then Man at the Door is coming out in December of this year. Those 3 books will be done in 2023.
Fabulous books, amazing books.
Thank you.
Will you continue with your police procedurals or do you think you want to move fully into the cozy mystery market?
I'm kind of torn. I mean, the Mike books, it's a story arc. So there's 6 books in that arc. That's kind of the end of him. I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, there's some good characters and there's lots of characters. You can come up with other characters too. I'm not limited to those characters. I like the police procedural a lot. It's a space that I'm quite comfortable in, having spent 30 years living that. So there's not a lot of research and development for me to do at this time, but there's all sorts of other possibilities out there. So I'm not sure.
Interesting. I don't know that you need to know right off the top of, you could see how they do as they're getting out into the wider world through level best books and then make a decision after that. I love the mystery and cozy mystery world for the very fact that they do not forget that you exist just because you don't put a book out every 6 weeks. I started in the romance world, and that is what they want, a book every 6 weeks. I have a series that I'm continuing on my own after Kensington. It's been 2 years since one came out, and people are like, when does it come out? And I'm like, I don't know, and I'm going to need you to hold on a minute. But they're still very excited about it. I love the mystery world for the fact that once they're invested, all bets are off. And if it takes you a year or 2 to make that decision, I don't think that you're going to lose any traction.
I hope not. The Mike books will be finished in about 2.5 years, because after this year, I'll basically be putting out either a Mike or a Mary Margaret book once a year. So every 6 months, one of those books will be coming out.
Oh, good.
But then the Mike books will be done. And I thought, well, then I'm going to be like a slacker. I'll be down to 1 book a year. So I was toying with another idea in my spare time. It's kind of another light mystery, but we'll see how it goes. Again, like the Mary Margarets are so much fun. There's no rules.
I believe back when we first talked to you, I was one of the people who said Mary Margaret needs her own book.
Yes. Yes. You were.
So,
It is true.
She rules the roost.
So will there be Irish recipes in your book?
This is killing me because don't tell anybody, but I'm not a natural cook.
Oh, it's a
That's
Dark
all
and
right.
Stormy Night exclusive.
Yep. You heard it here.
You heard
Well,
it here
I will
first.
tell you this. We've talked to other authors who are not natural cooks too, but still manage to get recipes in their book. I don't think they're necessarily their recipes.
Well, Mary Margaret is a natural cook, so she's the one who has to put the recipes in there.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
So now, did you have to completely reset your mind to join the cozy world and not have as detailed information? I can't imagine turning one off and turning one on.
Curiously, no. Writing Mary Margaret, it was just like stepping into Oz. Anything can happen. Actually, now, because I'm writing both at the same time, I look at how do I feel today? And if I'm feeling in a kind of prickly mood, I'll work on the Mike books. And if I'm in that, I really could care less how the world unfolds. I'll dive into the Mary Margarets, or if I'm in a bad mood, I'll start the Mary Margarets because it's fun. You haven't met one of the characters because you haven't read the Mary Margarets yet.
I read the first one.
Oh, yeah. So you met Arthur, her cleaning person.
Oh, yes.
Yes. He is just so much fun. They're like chalk and cheese at face value.
Are they going to solve mysteries together?
They are, because
Ah.
they have a strange, caring relationship about each other, although they are very, very different. And he's an amazing character to write as well. He's as crazy as a bag of hammers, but it's fun.
I'm trying to gauge that. How crazy is that? A bag of hammers. Feeling the energy off of that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you will be at Malice, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, we get to meet you in person.
Oh, it'll be so much fun. Not a lot of police procedurals at Malice, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Well,
You
you'd
will
be
have
amazed.
to-
We have a very good friend there, Bruce Robert Cobbs. He does not write a lick of cozy.
Oh, great.
He was a policeman also in Maine, and he writes a series. He hasn't put one out lately, but
No, he's working on something new.
oh,
He's,
that's right.
So with the cozy mystery world, what is it that you enjoy most about that particular kind of book? Is it the fun? Is it the characters? Is it the lower grade darkness?
All of the above. No, what it is the characters, because it's character driven. I mean, at least mine are. I like that the violence is all off screen.
Yes.
And so you don't get hung up on details. And it's interesting because there's a couple of scenes where Mary Margaret comes across some stuff and to not describe it, because
Don't do it.
my policing experience and my police procedural experience is describe it in detail as it's like, nope.
No, no. They don't want that. They just want the bird's eye view and then fly off.
That's all you need.
I
Yeah, and-
always say I enjoy killing people on the page, but I don't want to have to get into what is laying over there and what might be on the wall. I just want to tell you that they're dead, and then we get into the finding of justice and the shenanigans, and because with a cozy mystery, your readers are mainly there to see how your characters are doing. They love the justice, they love the twistiness of the mystery, but more often than not, they're there for your community that you're building, and they're there to see how Mary Margaret is doing and what sassy things she will do this time.
And one of the things that was brought to my attention was she's the only one who calls him Michael.
Okay.
But because the books are more from her perspective, in those books, he's Michael. And so when he does something, Michael does this, Michael does that, which was very interesting. And I noticed it did change the flavor of the whole book just by changing his name like that. And of course, she has to stay at his house. So
Does
she
she-
has to feign these illnesses.
She broke her leg last time.
Well, yes, and she's got the invisible cast.
As you do.
And she discovers that she's likely to break a limb using the crutches. So she has to have them, but not have them. And they become kind of a character unto themselves. Not to be a spoiler alert, in the next book, she has the pneumonia.
Oh,
The
the
pneumonia.
pneumonia.
But it's okay if Michael wants to send her home. That's fine. She'll just die in her
Die
bed.
alone.
Oh
That's all right.
no!
You know, and
It's
someone will,
my grandmother. That's
yeah, and
what
someone will,
you have
That's
someone will
Mary
let me-
Margaret.
and
Okay.
someone will let we fill out, I'm sure, when they come for her body.
Oh,
Not,
What's his name? Just say the last rites.
he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
not joking when he said that Mary Margaret took over his police procedurals. Every time I read one, I would get giddy when Mary Margaret appeared on the page.
that's awesome. That
Yeah.
I think is so intrinsic to the way that a cozy is written and presented. Is like I said, they're there for the characters. Police procedurals, I'm there for the characters too, but I expect them to go through some more hard-hitting things.
Yeah.
Whereas with Mary Margaret, like I said, it's about the shenanigans and it's about the reader being okay. So remember, don't drink tea while you're reading this book, or it will come out your nose. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my blanket on now, and no one bother me for the next 3 to 7 hours. Dinner's already in the crock pot. Don't want to hear you. So I know that readers that enjoy those books, they're there for the relationships that you're creating. Even the one between Mary Margaret and Michael, they want to see what's her excuse going to be this time? And can I use that on my own son?
And that's the thing. In writing her, I look at, let's put her in a ridiculous situation, and can we push it a little bit further? Right? And just to see how far you can go before that suspension of belief is too far. And she's just, I'm going to spend 3 to 7 hours with a group of people, whether they're in my head or wherever. You want to be having fun with them.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
I think Level Best Books, it was genius of them to do both, because there's people like me. If I had my choice to read a book, it would be more of a police procedural, but I do read cozies. That would get me to, oh, wait a minute. There's this character in here that I could spend some time with. So I think that it's going to open up a whole new world for some readers.
But
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I hope they enjoy them.
it's not that you're going to spend time. It's the fact she's going to make you spend time with her because she rules the roost.
She will
Yeah,
feed you.
she'll feed you. Yes, she will.
Yes,
Yep. Makes Michael oatmeal.
That's right. That's right. He doesn't eat it, but
He makes it for him every morning.
that's right.
So you said February 7th, the first Mike O'Shea comes out, and that will be available everywhere, or?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good.
So all the other ones have been pulled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So you have to start again.
All right.
And it's
So
a really
that's-
interesting situation to be with a publisher, having self-published, because I realize there's all these moving parts involved. As you know, a publisher will send you a production schedule and they'll say, get this to us at this time, and back and forth. Okay. And that's it. Like, you just do your little part and they do everything else. All right. And I keep, do you need anything else? I said, like, we're fine. We're on top of this. We've got it. That's what we do. Okay.
Well, I might have to look at Level Best then, because I'll tell you what, I have been published traditionally, and that is not always the experience for everyone.
They seem pretty great so far, so I'm
So
sure they
that
are.
is wonderful. And I'm
Yes.
excited for you, because I've done some self-publishing myself. It's hard to get your name out there. It's hard to get your books into the hands of people who are going to love them. You have to make sure that your keywords are right and all this stuff. And having a partner who obviously very much believes in your books, who's going to come together with you to then boost those, I'm sure that there will be lots of very happy readers to find you.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much. And I really look forward to having the opportunity to go to things like Malice, to meet the readers, to talk about it, just that energy. Because,
Yeah.
as you know, when you're writing, you're sitting by yourself.
Yes.
After a while, you're thinking, I haven't spoken a single word to another human being all day. This is not well.
that might be something you want to look at. That doesn't have to be like that.
No, so getting out and being able to go to events is great. to talk to readers, to just get people involved in the process is great.
Now, Desmond, are you still doing your YouTube videos where you talk about police pursuit? I used to really enjoy those.
I started a series called Ask the Detective.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a pile of those out. And so I have to do a pile more because I do it through the Crime Writers of Canada people that suggested I do it. They had sent me a lot of questions that some of the writers had. And so now I've got a backlog of questions that I have to answer. So there'll be some new ones
Oh,
coming
cool.
out.
I look forward to those.
Desmond, we thank you for talking with us. We've missed you.
Wonderful to be back.
Desmond's website is realdesmondryan.com. Look for his book on February 7th.
And if you're going to Malice, you can meet the one and only.
Yes.
This guy.
In person. Well, Desmond, you enjoy the rest of your evening, and it was great talking with you and catching up. And we look forward to seeing you at Malice.
And reading the
And-
Mary Margaret books.
I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll like it.
I'm a critic, you know.
Don't tell him if you don't. That would mean just like it anyway. I'm sure it's wonderful. I'll read it also. I'm sure that I will love it.
Yes,
Great.
you will.
Thank you.
Desmond, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Great. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
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 Trivia. Last week's question was, what did author Anthony Horowitz receive from his mother for his 13th birthday? A, a card, B, a skull, C, a car, or D, a telephone call? The answer is B, a skull. Horowitz's mother introduced him to Frankenstein and Dracula. She also gave him a human skull for his 13th birthday. Horowitz said in an interview that it reminds him to get to the end of each story, since he will soon look like the skull. This week's question: where did Dorothy L. Sayers get the names for her characters in The Nine Tailors? A, from graves in the cemetery. B, the names of her neighbors. C, the names of school friends. Or D, the baptism rolls in church. And remember,
Life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.